You're listening to Snippets from the Summit with your host, Scott McKay.
Oh, how's it going, gentlemen? This is your main man, Scott McKay, coming at you again with another episode of Snippets from the Summit as part of the Mountaintop Podcast from X and Y Communications. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something that I'm not sure has ever been talked about before by anybody in this realm of coaching, which is dating and relationships, which is why you guys are tuned in. But what you guys may or may not know is I also do a lot of career and entrepreneurship coaching. And it's strange to me that I'm one of the few coaches who kind of does both dating and relationship coaching and career entrepreneurship coaching, because in reality, they're very similar. And I'll give you several examples why. First, if you have a fear-based mindset, it's going to limit your ability to not only visualize but execute upon moving up your career ladder, getting promoted at work, or even having the audacity to believe that you can do what you want to do and be who you want to be. And obviously, all of that translates almost directly over to your relationships with women. You have to not be afraid of women. You have to believe that you can get the women you want. You have to have the confidence to approach women and ask them out, or else, like in your career, you're not going to get anything close to what you deserve. And of course, we're all about deserving what you want around here. Also, people have limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough to ascend to this level of my career. I don't have the wherewithal to start my own business and build it to the level where it would even replace the income that I'm getting from my regular day job that I hold now, let alone surpass it. And, again, that transfers directly over to limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough, I'm not sharp enough, I've not been blessed by the genetic lottery enough to get the kind of women I want, so I need to settle for less. And of course, this all involves confidence, right? And confidence is extremely important in your career and in your relationships with women. The last one that I can come up with is being connectable. I talk about that a lot in my Invincible program. Essentially, gentlemen, to sum up connectability for you, it's the art, if you will, of having enough check boxes checked in your personal life that you are basically likable and get along with most people, and you're going to meet their definition of what a good person is. For example, you're a kind person, not black-hearted and evil. You show up on time rather than being late all the time. You're somewhat generous instead of incredibly selfish. These are the kind of traits that everybody can agree on being positive, and people who lack those traits, falling into the negative side of the equation there, are typically not very likable by others. People want someone who's honest instead of someone who's a liar, etc., etc. So if you're connectable, it's going to help you in your career path, obviously, because you'll be promotable. And if you're in sales, people will want to buy from you. If you're building a business, people will want to work with your company. Likewise, if you're connectable, you'll have those building blocks in place to get along with women even before you've met them, so that when you go on first dates, or even if you're striking up a conversation with a woman you've never met before, well, then you're more likely to get along with her and she with you once you've checked those boxes of connectability. Then you can move on to attraction and compatibility and gauge those things through a much more accurate lens than you would if you had more self-work to do before you were truly connectable. So as such, you can readily see how career and entrepreneurship advice dovetail very nicely with dating and relationship advice. So that alone would be really good knowledge to have out of a snippet from the summit like this, right? But of course, there's more to it. It seems on the surface, at least, based on the information I've given you, that dating and relationships are very similar to career and entrepreneurship in several key ways. It would follow logically that if you're succeeding in one area, you're probably succeeding in the other. And also, if you're not succeeding in career or entrepreneurship, you're probably not succeeding very well in your relationships with women either. Now, it's not that one caused the other. In other words, because I'm not successful at work and I don't have a lot of money, therefore, since women love money, I can't be successful with women. That's not what I'm saying. But it's simply the fact that the two realms are very related to each other. I'm not saying that there's causation one to the other. I'm saying that when one is not succeeding in one area, it's likely that they're not succeeding in the other because of the reasons I mentioned earlier: fear, limiting beliefs, the importance of confidence, the importance of being connectable. And I'd also add to that the ability to communicate verbally and non-verbally in a way that's attractive to others. I'd add that to the list as well, by the way. But here's the thing. I know from talking to a lot of you guys on a daily basis that plenty of you are succeeding at one and you should be succeeding at the other, but you're not. In other words, you have a great job, your career's all set, but you're not getting the kind of women you want in your life. Or maybe you're doing pretty well with the ladies, but man, you're just stuck in this dead-end job and you're not self-actualizing in your career. Well, in that case, almost every time, because you can count on similarities at the interpersonal level between how you ascend up the corporate ladder and in your career or in building your business and how well you do with the ladies, you can therefore count on the truth that if you're not succeeding in both, there has to be a limiting belief somewhere in your mind that's holding you back from the success you are actually poised very well to achieve and enjoy. So in that case, gentlemen, my challenge to you, if you are indeed successful in your career but not with women, or successful with women but not in your career, what is that little voice telling you in your head that's keeping you back from succeeding on that other side of the ledger? Is it that you were raised in a family where, hey, we didn't have a lot of money, so it just seems otherworldly and too good to be true that I would ever have a job that's, say, over 6 figures? Or is it that you were never taught about women? You went through junior high, high school, maybe even college going without a girlfriend or, ever enjoying any romantic success. So that became too good to be true, even as you went to college and prepared yourself for a wonderful career that you're already enjoying. Either way, I want to challenge you in your limiting beliefs, because the bottom line, gentlemen, is if you are succeeding with women, you should be succeeding in your career. And if you're succeeding in your career, you should be succeeding with women. If there's a lack of consistency between those two factors in your life, or at least somewhat of a mismatch, let me know. I can help you work through that, put a plan together to help you get your life on track, both with women and in your career. And if you want to talk about that or anything else, Scott at mountaintoppodcast.com. Be good out there.
As always, visit mountaintoppodcast.com for more.